Right, welcome to this monthly itch. On this episode, it's going to take a bit of a solemn mood to the proceedings. I've got my good friend Joe next to me.
How are we doing there, Rich?
I'm doing alright, right. This is going to be the episode, as we've done previously, reviewing on 2015. But this one, we are going to make a mention of the people we have lost during the year. It's a bit of a somber type of a mood, but then again it's also a celebration because the heroes and icons we have lost throughout the year, we feel it's necessary to raise. I have a Jack Daniels in my hand. Are you going to join me, my good friend?
I am, but instead of a liquid drug, I've got a smokable one.
Alright, good on you, my good friend. Let's get through this. This is only a bit of a bonus, just because we feel it's necessary to recognize these good people that have actually given us so much joy throughout their careers. So Joe, bring it on, my friend.
Okay, boys and girls. Unfortunately, it is our duty to bring to you, as my good partner Rich was saying, icons we have lost over the year. And we're going to start off with Tommy Curry, a co-founding member of Amberian Dawn and bassist on the first three albums, died from health issues that forced him to leave the band back in 2011. We also have Rudy White Shark Vercruci, guitarist of Ostrogoth.
Yes.
Died from liver cancer at the age of 59.
Such a young thing.
So many years that he could have gone on.
Definitely.
Breaking away from the music veterans that have passed, we're going to dabble into the realms of TV and film, and
which we're about as well.
Name another star that we've unfortunately lost, and this is an icon, Mr. Leonard Nimoy.
Ah, yes, Spock.
Best known for his long and prosperous run
yes,
as Star Trek Spock. Nimoy tweeted in January that he had lung disease and signed the tweet with LLAP, an acronym for his character's catchphrase, "Live long and prosper."
Ah, beautiful.
He died February 27th at the age of 83.
Yeah, and we salute him with the old Vulcan
salute.
Yeah, can you do that?
With my right hand, yes, but I can't do it with my left.
Ah, look at that.
I'm envious of people like you.
Lots of Star Trek.
You're wishing many people to live extra long and extra prosperous.
Oh, yes, definitely in 2016.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Back on March the 1st, Ryan Stanek, co-founding member and former drummer of Broken Hope, died from undisclosed reasons at the age of 42. Following on in the month of March on the 20th, AJ Pero, drummer of Twisted Sister and Adrenaline Mob.
What, he was on a tour, wasn't he?
He died from a heart attack at the age of 55 on the bus whilst on tour.
Heart attack, wasn't it?
Adrenaline Mob. Yep, heart attack at the age of 55.
Just such a young...
I know, from such an iconic band of Twisted Sister to the great things he was doing with Adrenaline Mob.
Oh yeah, especially from latest album, jeez.
I know. Continuing on March the 24th, Scott Clendenin, bassist of Death.
Oh, yeah.
Died at the age of 47. Legendary.
Yeah, I think when he wasn't doing the reincarnation of Death, but they done a Chuck tribute
show,
and he was present on that, and he was still as good, even as the original days.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I missed any shows with his involvement in. It's going to be a regret.
But then again, music, man, it lives forever.
Very true indeed, my friend. Staying on the music path of legends we've lost, Bob Burns, founding Lynyrd Skynyrd drummer.
Nice.
Bob Burns unfortunately passed at April 3rd, the age of 64.
Sweet home.
He was involved in a single vehicle car crash and was not wearing a seatbelt when he collided with a mailbox and a tree.
So ladies and gentlemen,
buckle up, safety
first.
Burns played on such classics as Freebird, Tuesday's Gone, and Sweet Home Alabama during his time with the band.
Freebird's one of my all-time favourites.
Oh, so many. And to know that he was on pretty much three of the classics out of their back catalogue.
Without a shadow.
Instant legend. And I mean, come on, the guy is also a founding member as well, or at least the drummer of the founding group.
Nah, that's good. That's good. Salute to him.
Yep, absolutely. Also, an unfortunate demise in March was Sam Simon. Maybe not an instantly
I
recognizable name,
recognise
but anyone who
the
watched
name.
enough ending credits of The Simpsons will realize that Sam Simon was the 9-time Emmy award-winning comedy writer and producer who helped develop The Simpsons.
Oh wow, jeez.
Made millions after leaving the show in '93 and then donated his riches to charity.
You're joking.
Died March 9th. He was 59 years old.
Ah, 59. So he's still very, very young, and such a good guy to donate that. Jeez. And let's face it, Simpsons.
I know, so inspirational it's been for all these years.
Well, at least he's had a good run
He
of.
did, he most certainly did, and left behind a legacy of television shows that
And
will live
goodwill.
on.
Think
Oh,
about how
all
much
the
charities.
yeah.
Jeez. Good on
You
him.
imagine how much money The Simpsons makes and how much of a portion of that pie he took home, and he gave it all to better causes.
Better man
Exactly.
than most I know, anyway.
Instant hero and
Better
legend.
man than most of the fucking evil wankers
If
that are
ju-
still alive.
if not just for his creative talent to admire the man, then his generosity and humanity.
Yeah.
Bless him.
Let's enjoy all of it, don't worry.
Keeping that hand raised. So next we move on to another legend, Ben E. King, probably best
Alright.
known as Benny King and the
Stand
Drifters.
by me.
Oh yes, iconic 1961 single "Stand by Me." Stand by Me. He died April 30th and was 76. Other people taken from us in April was Sean Chavez, former guitarist of Havoc.
Havoc.
Yeah, died at the tender age of 30. 30 years old, this man passed
30.
away from undisclosed reasons. Apparently.
Jesus Christ. I've not heard Havoc, but I know they were an up and coming band, and I've been told they're very, very good. But yeah, 30 years old and just
Too
making
young.
a name of yourself
I
as
know.
well.
I know, it's sad.
To our fallen brother.
To our fallen comrade. Moving on to May, Craig Gruber, bassist of Elf and Rainbow, died from prostate cancer at the age of 63. Rainbow being one of those big prog bands
Of
from back
course.
in the day.
Dio.
There you go. There you go.
Another
Says it
one
all,
that we
really.
lost about cancer as well. Jeez.
Absolutely. Terry Jones, not the Monty Python guy,
Thank God.
the vocalist of Pagan Altar,
Wow.
died from cancer at the age of 69.
Jesus.
Also in May we had Ryan Schuttler, drummer of Lazarus AD, died from a heart attack at the age of 28.
I know, and I really love that band as well.
I'm so sad to hear
I
this.
tell you something, as they were once again like Havoc, who were just making so many forward strides in the very, very hard scene that we're a part of.
Aye.
And having that kind of thing, I just the members themselves must be devastated. So
I hope the band are able to continue in some
Yeah.
capacity.
in the memory of him, definitely.
Now, this next one I'm about to mention is incredibly close, near and dear to my heart, because he's an artist that was introduced to me by my dad and has been a great bonding, a great way for us to bond over. My love truly goes out to this individual. A legend is thrown around so much that you can kind of use it with the amount of weight that it's meant to carry. But
Okay.
with this, ladies and gentlemen, we have lost a true legend in the entirety of what that word was meant to mean.
Go on.
B.B. King.
Ah, bloody hell.
Blues legend B.B. King died
Legend is too weak a word.
on May 14th at the age of 89 years of age.
He had a good run and he have a legacy of music and influence he has.
He's one of the great. It's like
He's the great. He's one.
it's
if
like
there's-
losing Ozzy or Dio or Lemmy to metal. Like that's what B.B. King meant to blues.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like losing Dimebag.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys
He was a
who-
trinity.
who was one of the original
Albert
guys.
King, B.B. King.
Benny King.
Yeah. I was going to say John Lee Hooker, but jeez.
Oh yeah, John Lee Hooker, all of those guys,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolute legend, and there will be a big hole in the hearts of many left over from his departure. We celebrate you, sir.
Very much
entirely.
so.
Blasting the Thriller's gone live and loud. Next we have Chris Squire, legendary again, Yes bass player and co-founder. He passed away June 27th at the age of 67. He'd been diagnosed with acute erythroid leukemia and had taken a hiatus from the band back in May.
So he's still playing up to his day.
No,
Well, up to May, sorry.
well, he was diagnosed. He took a hiatus from the band in May and then passed as soon as June. So
Right.
May, June.
So he's
yeah,
still
within a
playing
month.
up to near.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Within the last month of his
Good
life.
on him.
Absolutely.
Doing something he loves right up to near the end.
More people who followed suit were Alan Fryer, vocalist of Heaven, passed away from cancer.
Don't know, but once again, another big loss. I will check him out and see. But
And remember,
yes,
so many legends already. Already am I throwing around naming people who deserve a grander title than legend. We've already reached another member on this list who deserves
Right,
more of
okay.
a grander title. Mr. Christopher Lee,
yes.
actor and singer, died at the Chelsea and Westminster Hospital at 8:30 a.m. on June the 7th after being admitted for respiratory problems and heart failure shortly after celebrating his 93rd birthday. His wife delayed the public announcement until June in order to break the news to their family. Now, Christopher Lee, I mean, Hammer horror
can't-
icon.
Well, it's also, coming from a metal background, it's a metal icon as well. Because
Yep.
Jesus Christ, what he actually achieved, he done like a dark parody of Christmas carols that I played this Christmas in tribute to him as well. I have to admit, I was doing a DJ at his club, and it was metal rock alternative, don't get me wrong, but when I started blasting a bit of Christopher Lee carols, I got some strange looks, but I'm like, fuck you, it's Christopher Lee, man. Fucking
Dracula, man.
enjoy, man. This is fucking darker than your shit. Fucking, yeah. So, but no, seriously, it's a huge
loss.
But then again, the actual foundation of his work shall be
Lived on forever. He is Saruman now,
he is,
you know.
yeah,
to,
he is
to many to
Saruman.
many generations, he's still always going to be known as Dracula, but to more younger generations to come, they've got him as Saruman. you know.
Well, Hammer films are just phenomenal, and they made him. But he actually, no, I disagree. They didn't make him; he made them. Because there's certain people who came out of the Hammer horrors. And let's face it, some of them were quite bad. But there's certain actors who came out because they outlasted the Hammer horrors and went on to great things. And he made that transition. And he was doing stuff he loved right up to his late 80s, for fuck's sake.
Do you know a lovely little tidbit I've got for you with ChristopherLee as well?
Go for it.
And how I'm going to tie him to Batman.
Okay, that's a bit strange.
I heard an interview with one of the Batman artists, and he said that his inspiration for designing Batman's swooshing, sweeping cape was taken directly from one of Christopher Lee's
Wow.
Dracula films. He said it occurred to him when watching Christopher Lee walk down a corridor and then make a dramatic left turn or something. He noticed that he was wearing a cape, and that when he was walking with such a precisional way in order to allow the cloak to flow in a more dramatic sense, and that when he turned his body to walk left, to get that flick, that whoosh from the cape, he'd do it in a certain body movement manner to gain that effect. And the artist stole it and used it in Batman.
So Christopher Lee is the original Batman.
Christopher Lee is the original Batman.
I'll tell you something, because they done an older Batman, if he was, of course, still around, God bless him, but if he was young enough, I would have loved to have seen him in his heyday to be Batman.
Yeah.
Really
man,
would they? That
be
would
cool.
be an absolute classic, because whatever he touched turned to gold in my eyes anyway.
He really did. He was a true master of his
Well,
art, his
let's
craft.
put it this way, I love Rasputin as well. He was very
Rah,
good.
rah.
Yes, of course. Anyway, yeah, carry on, my good friend.
I will. I'll go down this list of legends and greats, and depart from movies and music, and go to another style of entertainer and performer
Okay.
that could be classed as their own type of rock star. I mean, they pretty much are. It's just not with instruments.
Okay.
I'm referring to the entertainment industry that is the World Wrestling Entertainment industry.
Oh, we lost legends.
First of which came back on June 11th, was Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream.
Yes, for working man.
Dusty was one of my favorites growing up, man. Like, I got into wrestling just as his heyday was kind of diminishing. Like, they hooked him up with Sapphire as his
right,
manager,
okay.
and he had the polka dots over him. You know, that's what I
still
got
think that
introduced
was
with Dusty.
that was a rib or something. I'm sure, because I think a lot of people in the background were always thinking that was, but he made something which was absolutely silly, like
Work.
polka dot, but
Yeah.
work, because he had the it
Charisma.
factor.
Yeah, he
you
had
don't
the
get
it.
many like that.
No, once in a lifetime. And he did so much for the business outside of just his in-ring
Oh yeah, he
abilities.
trained a lot of the new wrestlers
Did a
that
lot
are
of
coming
the
out there
booking as
right
well,
now.
yeah.
Well, he got his some training school called the NXT, and all those people were. What they said about Dusty is he's the type of person that he doesn't look for wrestlers that have a complete package. He looks at almost like broken toys, and he wants to create something from almost like the rejects. I know it sounds horrible, but it's kind of like, I know you've got it because you got something different about you.
And
Let
he
me
tries to
work
bring
on
it out
it,
of them.
and let me try and make something that stands above everyone else. And I think that's a true person who has focus and gives guidance to what is coming out right now, which is we're seeing a different generation with more drive and more charisma and being different and alternative in giving the new life to something that a lot of people said was dead, and that's wrestling.
Yeah, but no, it lives on and is gaining as big a popularity as it ever has done.
All good.
So staying on with classic wrestlers from our childhood that have departed us,
This was gonna hurt me.
Roddy Piper.
My all-time favorite.
Died in his sleep peacefully on July 30th. He was 61 years old.
God bless you.
Oh man, what can you say about Piper that people don't already know?
we done a tribute on one of our shows, so
Yep.
you must have a listen back, because it hurt us quite a lot. We made a
Severely impactful, and we had to respond with the emotion that was,
which is love, because he showed a lot of that to all his fans and all his followers.
Wish you the best on the other side, Roddy.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we've got back into the music for a Justin Lowe, guitarist of After the Burial, died after falling off a bridge in Minnesota at the age of 32.
That was really strange when I heard about that.
I hadn't heard this story.
Nah, it's still very much in the shadows. Knowing that, did he jump off or did he get pushed off or what is
Oh
it
really?
still-
There was speculations over that.
Yeah, I don't know the full thing, but I have read about it.
Oh, that's such an unfortunate story to hear. Moving on, we have Jackie Collins, best-selling British author, died on September 19th due to breast cancer at the age of 77. Can't say I've ever read much of Jackie Collins' books, but I know that she is...
Influenced lots, so.
Absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. Brian Merrick, the former bassist of The Damned, passed away September 12th at the age of 56 after battling cancer. A lot of people lost to that disease, man. That's
It does seem the big C is coming up nearly every single time.
if it's not heart
unfortunately.
attack, it's cancer.
It just that's one of the things also we gotta say is, through these listing we actually have to be affirmative and just say, if you have any problems, if you've got any issues, if you've got any worries, that's what doctors are there for.
I
Get it
know.
fucking checked.
Raise awareness of all these kind of ailments and get them
Yeah.
checked out as soon as
Yeah.
possible. The last thing you want to do is find yourself on this here list.
Nah.
Continuing on, September 14th, we lost Martin Kiddy Kearns, the drummer of Bolt Thrower. died unexpectedly at the age of 38. I fucking love me some Bolt Thrower, man.
I think it's wonderful. The thing is, it's the type of thing you can get out of the whole back catalogue, and it's Bolt Thrower. It's you from the first album to latest album, whatever. It's
Bolt Thrower.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They were a staple, a standard where you knew where you stood with them.
Oh,
like
yeah,
anytime
yeah.
Motorhead or Slayer released an album, you'd hear a Slayer or a Motorhead album, and it was exactly that way with Bolt Thrower.
And so
yeah. God bless.
yeah.
October 18th, we lost Frank Watkins, who we reported back on our last news edition of our podcast.
Jeez.
Bass player of Gorgoroth and former bassist of Obituary, died from cancer at the age of 47 years old.
Sad, very sad.
October 30th, we had Mihai Alexandru and Vlad Tilia.
Is this by any chance? There was that fire, wasn't there?
This is exactly it, yeah. You'll probably know more about the story than I. I've just got a couple of the basic points here about them being the guitarists of Goodbye to Gravity.
Well, if
and
you
they
read,
died tragically in a
yeah.
fire which occurred in Club Collective. Now, what's the story? Do you know more about it?
I don't know the full details. I only found this out. It was ages ago, but when I was actually looking at, the people who have gone, I actually have read a slight bit about it. But it's not just them. It's also, I believe, some other members also did die shortly after. Is that on the list as well, or if you?
Actually, yes, because whilst the guitarist passed away on October 30th, the drummer died after suffering a cardiac arrest from injuries sustained in the fire, which occurred at the Club Collective.
I think there was this issue with not the right emergency exits or something. Something was not quite right, and it was an inflamed situation.
That's horrific.
Yeah,
that is absolutely horrific. Oh, that doesn't make it any
lacks in some venues, unfortunately.
Another big legend on the list. Not to do a disservice to our other brethren and sisters lost, but we have here a horror icon, much like Christopher Lee. Wes Craven.
Yes.
Famed maestro of horror, died at the age of 76 in September after a battle with brain cancer. Craven, of course, wrote and directed the first Nightmare on Elm Street and helmed the first 4 Scream movies, along with a plethora of other...
I revisited them shortly after that.
Oh, what, the Nightmare on Elm Street? Or?
That as well as the Scream series.
I could never get on board with the Scream films. They just weren't for me, but I can appreciate the charm in them.
I'll tell you something from a nostalgic point of view, and to think that's where a lot of that kind of horror started from. You gotta give it credit where credit's due. He was a pure master. Yes, a bit outdated now, but I'll tell you something. All the things that we take note on, horror films, they take Wes Craven's platform, and they just mimic it every single. It's like Alfred Hitchcock, how everyone. There's moments where you go, right, you can see that's from the Alfred Hitchcock book. It's the same thing with Wes Craven. He started a lot of those scenes, a lot of those whether it mounts up. He's one of those generations that carved, forward what the template of horrors will be and brought it to the next level.
Totally.
And of course, there's more people nowadays who do it a bit better and whatever. But I still class Wes Craven as
one of the original greats.
The original greats.
Moving on, in the month of November, this is when Alex Pascu, the bassist of Goodbye to Gravity, died from his injuries sustained in the fire. Which
I thought it was slightly after as well.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, following on what we just previously discussed, it seems all the members of Goodbye to Gravity passed away due to the incident at this Club Collective.
Very, very sad. I don't know much about music or anything like that.
Nope.
But I'll tell you something.
It's something to go and remember, because it's much like when I want to say it was the singer of the band Woods of Ypres. I didn't discover that band until people started talking about his untimely passing, and now I wish it hadn't happened, because after now discovering them, it was musical greatness.
Of course.
It's such a shame to see so many
Young
members,
bands as well.
young,
you know.
guys get taken away before their time, where they couldn't fulfill.
Especially
and
as
get
it
to
was
us.
an accident, that's the thing. So
Oh my gosh.
it wasn't like it was almost, through stupidity or
No.
through elements of their lifestyle. It was literally wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place, wrong time. Well, on the same day, November 11th, that Alex passed away, Phil, the filthy animal Taylor, also left us. Former drummer of Motorhead, died at the age of 61.
And that's why we have the Jack in front of us.
Scott Weiland,
yeah.
former Stone Temple Pilots frontman, died in his sleep in early December. Weiland, who was also the frontman for Velvet Revolver and was on tour with his latest band, The Wildabouts, was 48 years of age.
From what I can tell and what I've read, he's one of those
Tragic cases where he was lost all by himself, much like Lane Staley.
Yeah. There was a music video he done with Slash and Velvet Revolver.
Fall to Pieces, I think I
And
say.
you
where
watch
he actually portrays eventually how he actually did die, pretty much.
Yeah. And he's one of those people, from the stories I've heard from people who know of the person, he was in and out of rehab
Multiple
numerous
times.
And from what I can tell from people who actually known him and interviewed him and all that kind of stuff, he's one of the nicest guys ever. At one moment you're getting someone who's fully involved and active and an amazing brain and talent within the scene, and then you got this guy who was just out of it and was not even a shadow of that person, and that is the troublesome of addiction. That's why you need to get some fucking help when you get like that.
Absolutely. Don't think anything more could be said about it, really.
Nah,
Kind of summed it
sorry.
up perfectly right there. Moving on to some of the last remaining names on the list. Out of left field here, even though it seems like it should have been a long time coming, Vincent Don Vito Margera, Jackass star and uncle to Bam Margera. Vincent Don Vito Margera died on November 15th due to a kidney and organ failure after waking up from a coma. He was 59 years old.
Jesus Christ.
This was the guy that was on the little motor, handy capable person mobility scooter thing, right?
I'm not humouring anyone's death or anything like that, but I slightly had to smile on my face, because even though it's a morbid thing, he gave me so much joy, because I really like the BAM stuff.
Right.
I like Jackass as well, but the BAM stuff especially was very good. So I'm smiling just because I got great memories, and those memories will continue.
Totally.
So here's to him.
John Bradbury, drummer with The Specials, also passed away at the age of 62. The Scar group tweeted the news. It is deep with regret that we say goodbye to our great friend, the world's greatest drummer, our beloved Brad. Rest in peace.
Just the Specials. Once again, the same thing. I've got a smile on my face because they're the kind of band you put on in a nice summer environment where you're just enjoying some amazing songs.
Fun party atmosphere.
Yeah, and it was all due to the drumming. It's one of those hypnotizing type beats that make you bounce up and down and smile and enjoy yourself, and that was the backbone for Specials.
Totally.
So,
absolutely. Sad and will be very much missed.
Definitely.
This brings us to the last name on our list.
Yes.
And this is... I've
Let's just take a
wept
breath, because
and
I
cried multiple times this year over the names that have left us over the various times in the year. This one had to fucking happen at the very end turn of the year, didn't it? And it had to be one of the greats.
We
The
reported
icons.
about this last episode.
And the episode before that, I believe.
Yeah, but the last episode I made a fleeting comment saying that there was a rumour that basically if the apocalypse happens, there will be no nothing but this man and
Keith Richards.
still alive, and Cockroaches. And unfortunately,
The name of the individual is Ian Lemmy Kilmeister, vocalist and bassist of Motorhead, and also of Hawkwind.
oh, can't forget Hawkwind.
Can't forget Hawkwind.
They're
No,
a phenomenal.
if you didn't grow up with Silver Machine regularly being played on this stereo, I feel sorry for you.
What did your parents do wrong?
He died from an aggressive cancer at the age of 70 years of age.
He just had his 70th birthday party as well.
He did. He got down to the Whiskey A Go Go in LA where he lives,
And had
just straight off a tour, didn't
tributes.
he?
Yeah. He went in there, and there's YouTube clips of just the artists that were just on stage, and they were doing all his favourite songs and all that kind of stuff. And it's worth a watch anyway. Look, out of everyone, that was a thing that really, really got me. But I tell you what I did, and what I suggest we all should do, is every single one on his list, especially Lemmy. One of the things they've incorporated, they've impacted our lives.
Touched us greatly.
Yes. And one of the things I did when I found out about Lemmy was I put my Motorhead CDs on the side, played one by one, and blasted it so loud that I got knocking on the fucking walls.
Good.
Played it at fucking
The
11.
The only way the loudest band
It's
on the
going to
planet
be
should
very,
played.
very much quieter. Now Lemmy has gone and Motorhead are no more, which has actually confirmed that they are not continuing with Lemmy, which I've got all respect
Absolutely.
for the band.
It's the logical conclusion.
I was meant to see them in January,
Oh yeah.
so I got tickets, but I tell you something, his legacy, you know, throughout all the albums, he was rock and roll. And, you know, like the Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the song The Day the Music Died, this was the day rock and roll truly died or suffered greatly with the loss of the godfather, the one that kept the names of, you know, you listen to his musical tastes and who influenced him, and also who he was around. He was a roadie of Jimi fucking Hendrix. He was around at the time where dropping acid and
Doing cocaine. Downing bottles.
you
of
know,
booze.
stuff that we would never imagine nowadays, because everything's got very, very
sanitized and conditioned, and
He was a
moderated.
of the rock and rollers.
He was the ultimate excess guy.
And I think it's best, as we said, we've got a nice bottle of Jack Daniels in front of us right now. And I hope you guys have exactly the same. Get these albums out for Lemmy, but not just that. We have named so many different people.
Go watch them, enjoy them in all the forms that they brought joy to your lives with.
Exactly. They deserve that, and they deserve this as well. So this is being Rich and Joe from the Monthly Itch, saluting with a fucking bit of Jack Daniels,
And a rather large fatty.
saying thank you for so many great memories to all these great people.
Your memory will live on eternally, and we will celebrate what you contributed to our lives and enriched forevermore.
You are immortalized in your work, and thank you so much for that. So this is being a very somber, but let's celebrate now. This has been a Monthly Itch. Be safe and see you soon.
Good night.